Hello, First Baptist Church of Trenton. This is your youth pastor, Kyle McQuinn. We are actually going to be starting on Mondays a really, really cool study. So, Pastor Tim and I have really kind of thought about this for a while now and just really wanted to give you all a time and a resource to just talk about discipleship and what that looks like. For me, discipleship is just becoming more and more like Jesus. In order to be a disciple of a rabbi, you were actually so close to the rabbi that you would actually get the dust off of the sandals of the rabbi onto your own self. You were that close to them, whether you were walking with them, you were in the house, you were that close to your rabbi. And this is kind of what we want to be with Jesus. We want to be so close to Jesus that everything about Jesus rubs off on us. Now, the way that you do that is where this comes into play. There's going to be four different aspects to what I'm going to call Discipleship 101, or just kind of the basics of discipleship. First is bibliology, how we read the Bible. And obviously you may be thinking to yourself, okay, I know how to read, which is good. But it's not necessarily reading in English, but it's how do we read the Bible and actually understand what it is saying? How do we actually read the Bible? So, with that in mind, we're going to be looking at a couple of things. We're going to be looking at the different genres of Scripture. We're going to be looking at the history behind Scripture, the cultural background behind Scripture. We're also going to be looking at different literary aspects of Scripture, because the Bible, yes, it is the most important book out there, but it is, in fact, a book. So to treat it as something else would actually lose part of the concept of Scripture. The other thing that's really big into reading the Bible is finding out that the Bible is not just these collections of different stories here and there, but it's all together and it's all interwoven into what we call a meta narrative. Basically, what that means is a very big story, very big account, which is filled with a bunch of smaller accounts that make this into a really big account, which is the Bible. Obviously, you have the Old Testament and the New Testament that go into that. But that's very, very interesting, that meta narrative. And when you find out that meta narrative of Scripture, whether you are reading in the book of Ecclesiastes or in the book of Nahum or in the book of First Peter or in the Gospel of John, everything starts to connect together, which is really, really cool. And that is kind of what we're looking at when it comes to how do we read the Bible. The second part of Discipleship 101 is then really how do we go about the different doctrines of what we believe as believers of Christ. And so we're going to look at the different ologies. So we're going to look at Christology, the study of Christ. We're going to look at ecclesiology, the study of the church. We're going to look at epistemology, the study of knowing, or the study of understanding what we believe in. And then just a bunch of other ologies, theology, bibliology, pneumatology. We're going to look at some of those. And then the third aspect of discipleship that I want to look into as well is just the church itself. What is the church? What should it be? What should it look like? What is its mission? We're going to look at that. And then the final part of Discipleship 101 that we're going to look at is just what does it mean to be a Christian personally, or what I like to call the personal spiritual disciplines. So we're going to look at prayer, worship, Bible reading. We're going to look at listening to sermons, how to take notes. We're going to look at all of that together. And those four things: how do we read the Bible well, the different doctrines of the church, understanding what the church is, and then as well, just these personal spiritual disciplines are really going to increase our discipleship. So how does it look? So it is going to be 30-minute sessions every single Monday, for however long I guess it needs to be. And we're going to just look at those different things that we talked about in those 30-minute sessions. I'm not going to make it live. I think I'm just going to post it, just like I'm posting this introduction to the series here. And that gives us just a better opportunity to comment on the video and to share it. And because I really do want to hear your questions as we're going through what we are talking about. And I'm very, very excited about this. Our students here have been so amazing, and they know already a lot of what we are going to be covering in these videos just through what we do on Wednesday evenings and Sunday mornings. And so to them, this may not be a ton of new stuff, but I'm hoping that is still brings something new to the table for them. But then for the rest of the church that is outside of the youth group, I'm hoping this is incredibly encouraging. This is not something that is seminary level. As much as I loved my time in seminary, this is not a seminary level course. This is not something where you have to know Greek and Hebrew, because obviously not everybody likes that kind of stuff. I enjoyed it, but not everybody likes that kind of thing. So we won't be going that deep. But yeah, I think that there is a surface level knowledge that you can have about how to read the Bible, about the church, about the doctrines of what you believe, and just the personal spiritual disciplines of what we do as believers that will greatly affect those in the church that aren't looking to go deep academically into their faith. And this is kind of what this is mainly about. Again, Pastor Tim and I have really, really thought and prayed a lot about this. At some point, right now it's a little bit busy right now with the coronavirus and everything. But at some point, Tim and I will be tag teaming together on this. So at some point, Pastor Tim and myself will be on these videos together and just giving you all the encouragement, the knowledge that we have been given. And here's the cool part too, that these things that we're talking about, you don't just learn once and then you master them. This is something that you continue to work on. So as cool as this is, where we get to have this time together, I'm excited because I get to walk through with you all on all these different things. So next week we will start with how do we read the Bible, and we'll look at the genres of Scripture, and then we'll go to meta-narrative. So first off, the biggest genre that there is in Scripture is narrative itself, and so when I say biggest, it's like the most famous and well known. So that is where we will start next week, is narrative passages of Scripture, and we will look at how do we take things from narrative passages to help us better understand what we're seeing and what we're reading. All right, guys, I will see you next Monday. Thanks.